Rather lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're going to be diving into the latest around Arsenal. In this part of the podcast, we're going to be discussing Victor Osimhen and Lautaro Martinez potential transfers to Arsenal. According to Spanish sources, Jorge Mendes, the new agent for Marco Asensio, has actually offered him to Barcelona, Man United, and Arsenal for the summer. We'll be diving into that. Marco Asensio could be a free agent, and Arsenal are looking for a left winger as well in the summer. But what's also very important is that Arsenal are going to face sanctions over the celebrations that happened over the weekend when we beat Bournemouth 3-2. The FA are actually doing investigations. The Premier League are also doing investigations, and Arsenal could face serious sanctions due to the celebrations that happened over the weekend. Hit the like button for me, subscribe to the podcast as well. Let's get this video to 300 likes. And in the comment box below, I want to ask you a question that is very, very, I think, recurring on this channel. Is the Premier League, is the PGMOL, are the referees, VAR, FA, are they trying to stop Arsenal from winning a title that we fully deserve to win by now? Do you feel that they're trying to stop us? Are they trying to do, whatever in their power there is to stop Arsenal from winning a Premier League title that we have fought so much for, that we have waited 18 years to come, a title that I think Arsenal must be winning, whether with or without the help of VAR? Do you think we are being stopped? I want your thoughts. I want your opinions in the comment box below. And that's the story that we're going to be diving into right away. So, of course, you remember the pictures that were taken on Saturday when we scored that goal in the 97th minute, or 90+7. It should have been 90+6, but Bournemouth wasting a lot of time. It meant that we had an extra minute in that game. So when we scored that goal, it was pure sins. It was absolutely crazy. The emotions were all over the place. The passion was all over the place. And a few, or many actually, Arsenal players from the bench and Arsenal coaching staff members ran onto the pitch to celebrate with the players. You had players like Benjamin White celebrating in the face of Neto. You had players like William Saliba running on the other side. You had players, Arsenal players falling down, like collapsing. Odegaard collapsed, I think. Which other player as well collapsed in the penalty area for Bournemouth? It was absolute sins, at that point in time. Now, the Premier League and FA have come out and said that the conduct, actually, it was reported by referee Chris Kavanagh, that the conduct of Arsenal players and on the bench, Arsenal players on the pitch, and Arsenal players and Arsenal coaching staff was actually out of order, and Arsenal will be facing potential huge sanctions in this season. Now, what I don't understand here is the kind of sport I'm watching in 2023 and the kind of sport I started supporting in 2003. There's a huge difference between the football that we are watching and supporting right now and the football that we grew up knowing and the football that we grew up to love, okay? Because I grew up in an era, I was very, very young, I was a kid, when Arsenal could lose a game and people could commit suicide. I grew up in an era where Arsenal lost a game and there could be murders. I grew up in an era where Man United and Arsenal fans could kill each other because of the passion, the emotions, and everything. It's part of the game, right? Should it be regulated? Should it be controlled? Absolutely. But what I look about FA, Premier League, and VAR and football, it's taking away the human effect. It's taking away the human part of football. And the human part of football is the emotions. It is the celebrations, right? When you score a 90+7 goal, it is inevitable. It is purely inevitable that players will run onto the pitch. It is purely inevitable that it's going to be absolute scenes, right? The scenes, if you're a Bournemouth fan, you don't want to watch that. And I really, really liked O'Neill's press conference because he said Arsenal have won a game 90+7. They can celebrate the way they want to celebrate because they've won a very important game that they wanted. And I don't understand really. I really, really don't understand how the Premier League and FA have a problem with us celebrating at the Emirates Stadium, right? And that's not all. That's not my big problem with that with FA. Okay, we had celebrations and they were out of hand, all right? So we are going to be facing sanctions and we're going to be penalized. What about these all other players, right? What about all these other teams? I want to remember that when Kun Aguero scored a 90-plus winner for Manchester City when they were fighting for the title race with Manchester United, someone tell me that there were no scenes there. It was a cool celebration, running to the corner flag and saluting the fans and going back to restart the game. That is not what happened. I don't understand why there is an agenda on Arsenal. I don't understand why anyone in the FA, in the Premier League, in PGMO, or whoever is running these shit house associations is actually having an agenda on Arsenal. We're a team that has not spent a lot of money, so no one can say, oh, they're rich, they should work for it. We don't have a lot of money. We are not spending a lot of money. And even the money we've spent, we've worked for the last 20 years, right? So that's number one. Number two, we are not predominantly winning the Premier League. For anyone to say they're winning too much, they're winning it a lot of times, we need to stop them. We've not won this league in 18 good years. So why is anyone bothered by Arsenal winning the Premier League? Why is anyone? But when Man City win it late and the celebrations go crazy, oh, Manchester City have a winning mentality. Oh, Manchester City are the real deal. When Arsenal win it late, and we have crazy celebrations, we are going to be investigated. We are facing potential sanctions. They're trying to derail our season. This is what's trying. They're psychologically trying to play with our players, with our management, with everyone. They're trying to derail our season. Because I tell you what, we have been fined on 2 occasions this season. Fined on 2 occasions this season. And, believe it or not, if these sanctions come in or all these investigations, that are happening, it affects our players negatively, purely negatively. So I don't understand the sanctions. I really don't. It's celebrations. If they don't want us to win in 90+7, what about introducing a stop clock for every club that is wasting time? If the ball goes out of play and you've not put it back in time, it's okay. We have a stop clock, right? If there is an injury, if a player is faking an injury, we stop the clock. Because the 90+7s that are added on at the end of the day are not even enough. You look at VAR, the time they took checking decisions that were correctly, maybe incorrectly not given. You look at the time that all these other teams are wasting in terms of he hit me in the fence, or this and that, all that kind of bullshit. No one talks about it. Everyone is after Arsenal. It's a shambles. It's a pure shambles. But anyway, talk to me in the comment box below what you think about the FA, the Premier League, and their agenda against Arsenal, because it's really disgusting me as a person. Right, so we have a couple of transfer stories to look at as well on this part of the podcast. George Mendes has been now confirmed to have offered his client, that is Marco Asensio, to United, to Barcelona, and to Arsenal as well. Now, Marco Asensio is the player Arsenal wanted in the summer. We try to negotiate a deal, but Real Madrid decided that he will be staying with them for another season. Now, Arsenal need a left winger in the summer, but I don't think it's Marco Asensio. I don't think we need Marco Asensio. You look at all the other players that we are linked with, Jeremy Frimpong, Moussa Diaby. Those players are quite, they're in the drive right now. They are on form, they're doing very well, and they're really young players. Marco Asensio has a talent. I think it would be good for Barcelona, to be honest. Barcelona is becoming a dumping place for all your kind of shithousery players. You just send them there, okay? But for Arsenal, Marco Asensio would not be the perfect player. If you want to keep Reece Nelson and bring in Marco Asensio, and you have Emile Smith-Rowe and Gabriel Martinelli, there is no increase in quality. Unless you convince me that Trossard leaves, Nelson leaves, and Emile Smith-Rowe leaves, and then you bring in Marco Asensio. A deal that would definitely don't make any sense. Now, he's a free agent in the summer. I understand. But I would be okay if he goes to Barca. I would be okay if he goes to Manchester United. I don't think Arsenal need Marco Asensio at this point in time. I really struggle to remember one season where Marco Asensio has proven to be a regular player for Madrid. He has one season where he has proven to be a focal point for Real Madrid. And what we need as Arsenal is players that are going to come in and deliver. Because we're going to the big stage. We're going to a stage where we either win the Premier League and now we're trying to defend it next season, or we nearly miss out on the Premier League and we will be trying to win it come next season, okay? So I don't think Marco Asensio on a free is the kind of deal that wins us the Premier League next season or defends our Premier League title next season. I'm sorry. I don't think he is, right? But if he goes to Man United, Barcelona, as a player, if I was to advise him and advise his agent, look what, take him there. I think they're pretty, interesting sides to, to explore. Take him there and see if he can actually, work out for you as a team and as a player. But for Arsenal, Marco Asensio, I'm not that bothered about him. Now, Victor Osimhen is one of the players that want to play in the Premier League. He's been talking to Sky Sports recently in an interview, and he was asked about the possibility of playing in the Premier League and said, my dream is to play in the Premier League. I want to slowly but surely progress. I want to slowly but surely achieve that dream and achieve that status of being a Premier League player. He says, I love Napoli right now. I love Milan. Did he talk about the food? Did he talk about sorry, not Milan, but Italy? I think he talked about the food as well. And he said the food in Italy is quite impeccable. I'll be traveling to Italy like in the next 2 years, and I'll try to see whether the food is actually impeccable. But do Arsenal need Victor Osimhen? Hell yeah, absolutely. I think I was on Igal's channel, Igal Talks Football, and we were discussing Victor Osimhen. And personally, I said if you have a player like Victor Osimhen, proven goal scorer. My problem with Victor Osimhen last campaign was he had not found a season where he scores, for me, numbers that mean 100 million. Because Aurelio De Laurentiis, again today, says that he is waiting for an offer for over 100 million euros in the summer transfer window for the Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen. Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea are all interested in signing the Nigerian player in the summer as per Ekrem Corner. So, right this season, he's hitting those 20s, okay? When a player hits the 20s, it doesn't mean that he's definitely going to be, a success, but it's a better gamble than taking a player who literally has done nothing, has been scoring 10-9 goals per campaign, and you buy him for 100 million euros. So do Arsenal need Victor Osimhen? In my opinion, definitely. You look at those chances that Edin Ketia was, washing away just like a flood. We need a guy who can capitalize on such chances, right? Because when you play on a big stage, and I was watching Napoli very, very closely, again, entering Frankfurt in the round of 16 first leg, the difference in that game was Victor Osimhen. The moment, because Napoli are a very, very creative side, okay? But why is the difference? You look at the way he times his runs. You look at the way he, he's hungry for the ball. You look at the nature of goals he's scoring. They're unbelievable. Forget Marcus Rashford. Really, really do forget Marcus Rashford when you're talking about the best forward right now in the world. Could be Victor Osimhen. Because the nature of goals he's scoring, he's absolutely unstoppable right now and he's being unreal for them, okay? So, Victor Osimhen is a guy I would take at Arsenal. Not for 100 million, though. No, not for 100 million. And I think that's where the story dies. Like, I don't think Aurelio De Laurentiis is going to go, oh, Arsenal wants you. They don't have 100 million. Okay, I'll just sell you to Arsenal because they don't have 100 million. It's never happening. I see him as a Man United player. I see Victor Osimhen as a Chelsea player. I won't be surprised if Victor Osimhen ends up at PSG. I won't be very, very surprised. Like, not very surprised, but I won't be surprised at all, okay? Because when it comes to the big money move, it is Man United, it is PSG, it is Chelsea we are talking about, isn't it? Maybe Madrid, but do Madrid really need Victor Osimhen right now? Yes, Karim Benzema is aging, and Victor Osimhen could be the kind of guy, young guy. But I feel like Madrid, you must have that, star status to sign for them, to play for them. Yeah, they are rebuilding, so he could go to Madrid as well. I wouldn't really have a problem if he goes there far away from the Premier League. And lastly, Arsenal are still tracking Lautaro Martinez. Now, we wanted him in January. We still want to sign him in the summer. We are not the only club interested in signing Lautaro Martinez, as Madrid look to replace Karim Benzema and find new legs in there. They're looking at Lautaro Martinez. I think this is the time Lautaro gets a move. If he doesn't get a move right about now, when? When will he get the move? So for me, if I'm Lautaro Martinez, I forget all about the loyalty to the blue and black stripes. I forget all about that, and I'm focusing on my career. My career right now, if I'm Lautaro Martinez, I don't even sign for Arsenal. I don't. Yeah, and this is me being very serious on an Arsenal podcast. If I'm Lautaro Martinez, I don't sign for Arsenal. I go to Madrid, win whatever I can win, become maybe a legend or an icon or a flop at Real Madrid, and my career ends there, okay? So Arsenal want Lautaro Martinez, but that's the deal I don't see happening, just like the Victor Osimhen deal. Hit the like button, subscribe to me on the channel. You can also find me on the 90 More podcast on YouTube. I'll see you right in the next one.